Don't push back. 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 Don't push back.
Hi all, welcome back. We are doing Linux troubleshooting break and fix. So this is scenario 2. So we take like user unable to SSH into the remote servers. So what might be the incident you are getting in the real time? So system administrator is unable to SSH into the remote Linux servers. So this is very critical issue because remote access is essential for managing your servers in production environments. So we'll first try to simulate this issue, nothing but we'll try to bring down the SSH. So we'll see like what all the things that we can go and do. So first I'll go and check systemctl status sshd. Nothing but I'm checking my status like SSH status. So this is something which I have logged in through putty. So to my virtual machine. So if I stop this, so if I stop my SSHD, I cannot go and access this. So before that, so what I'll do anyway, like I'll try to break it and I'll like try to log in into my Linux directly to the Ubuntu. So I'll just do sudo systemctl. I'll stop SSHD. Okay, so when I do this, it will not allow me to log in into this box. Okay, so now if I go and check this status, okay, so it says stopped. Okay, now if I do a duplicate of this, okay, so it says connection refused. Nothing but I cannot go and log into this server right now. So what I'll do, I'll just go to my Ubuntu server. Okay, anyway, this is my desktop. So now if I do, let me bring it up. Okay, this is one scenario where your SSH is not running, and also there might be another scenario where the firewall might be blocking your SSH. How you do that in Ubuntu? UFW deny 22. Okay, so nothing but it is blocking the 22 port because your SSH is running on port 22, and also you might have a misconfiguration. So how you can go and check your SSH configurations in etc ssh sshd underscore config. Okay, then I'll do enter. So here like you will have few of the things. For example, if I go and say password authentication, so it is saying password authentication as yes. Okay, so I'll mark it as no, and also it is something with permit root login. Okay, so let me search for it again, permit root login. So it says yes. Okay, anyway, I'm not logging in as a root. It is always no. It is always no in the real world. Okay, so whenever you log in into any server, you are not allowed to log in as a root. Okay, so this is also one scenario you might see. Okay, so now if you go and see systemctl status sshd, it is in stopped state. That is the reason why I am unable to go and log in. Okay, so that is the reason why it is showing as network error, connection refused. So this is one scenario you will see in the real world that your SSH access is broken. So you need to figure out like how you gonna check this, right? So now what you will do, you will say okay, and I'll close this. So I'm into my Ubuntu server right now, but how you go and do this in the real world, real time? Because every time you will be doing a putty with your IP address and then you will be logging in, but you are not going to log in into the server consoles, right? So there is an option if you are working with the AWS, Azure, GCP, or if you have physical bare metals. On top of bare metal you will have hypervisor from where you will be pulling all the VMs, right? So you can go and log in there and you can do the fix. Okay, so you can do the fix there. So this is something. Okay, so for example, if you are working with the AWS, you can log into the console and you can check with the systemctl status SSHD. Okay, so this is the rarest scenario that service itself is down. So it's a very rare scenario. Anyway, like what you need to do, you just need to go and systemctl start SSHD. Right now I'll start this and I'll just see the status. Now it is running, but still if I can go and say again, like I'll do duplicate session here and I'll just say my username. Okay, so it says like no supported authentication methods available. So it's saying that you need to log in with the SSH key. Okay, so this is how you log in when you log in into the AWS. For example, I'm not talking about real world, but when you create a EC2 instance on SSH, you will log in with the key, because by default password authentication will be set as no. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm unable to go and log in here. So what I need to do, I need to go and fix that issue as well. So I'll do vi etc ssh and SSHD underscore config. Then I'll say password authentication as S. Okay, I'm doing password authentication as yes. Okay. Okay, here my firewall is disabled. Okay. Now I enabled, now I check the status, now I have denied the 22 port. Okay, so I'll just say UFW again, like I'll just check deny 22. Okay, because it's already having. Okay, so skipping adding existing rule it says. Okay, anyway, first we'll go again, like I'll go to my box putty, then I'll just close this, then I'll do a duplicate session again. Okay, so now if you see, I'm unable to log in. Okay, so it is not giving me any prompt because the firewall is blocking the port so that I cannot go and log in here. So what I'll do, I'll just go again to my server, then I will say UFW allow. Okay, so I'm just allowing the 22 port in the firewall. This is a local firewall. This is not a security group. Okay, so security group is something like you can also do it on the in the AWS, right? Now I'll just go back and I'll do a duplicate session. Okay, so now I'm getting the prompt. Okay, so no supported authentication methods available it says. Again, like what I need to do, I need to go here. Again, I need to check this. I already made password authentication as S, but I'm unable to log in because I need to restart my service. So I'll just say systemctl restart SSHD. Okay, so now if I go back again, I close this and I'll close this network error connection, and again, like I'll do a duplicate session, then I can go and log in, right? So now I'm able to go and log in. So what are the things I have done? I have started my service. First we need to check whether my service is up or not. Then I'll go and check whether the firewall is blocking this issue. Otherwise there might be a misconfiguration in the SSH configuration. Okay, so I have corrected my SSH configuration file. If not, you can use the keys to go and log in. So whenever you have password authentication issues, try to log in with the keys, and also make sure that your SSH is running on port 22. Otherwise you need to log into that server with respect to the port which is opened through 22, because again, like when I go and show you that etc ssh sshht underscore conf. So here when you see the port is 22 by default, you can go and change this anytime. Okay, so you can go and change this port to any available port in your server, but right now it is 22, so I'm not going to change this. So this is how you can go and check the server issues. And whenever you are troubleshooting, the thing is like you can go and check with the ping and the IP address whether that server is up or not. And in most of the cases, ping will not work in the real time, because ping will be disabled by default in any cloud and also in any organization. You cannot go and ping the IP. So when you see that you are unable to ping the IP, that doesn't mean the server is down, or that doesn't mean something is wrong. You just need to go and check with the telnet. You can use telnet, and in some organizations telnet is also not allowed. Okay, so you need to figure out like how you can go and check the status in the UI. So this is how you can go and check whether your server is up or not first, then you can go and check with the SSH configurations. So these are all the things that you need to remember when you are working with the SSH. Thanks for watching this. Then we'll go for the next scenario in the next session. Hi all, welcome back. So we are doing Linux troubleshooting, break and fix issues. So this is scenario 3, where for example your website is down due to Apache failures. So for example, your company website is suddenly inaccessible. So users report that they are getting 502 bad gateway or 503 service unavailable, or it might be a connection refused. So when trying to visit the site, they are getting all these issues. So this can happen due to an Apache service failure, or it might be a configuration error, or it might be a port conflicts. So how you gonna do this? So first we'll try to simulate this issue. So I already have Apache 2 server installed in my server. So you can do apt install Apache 2 if you want to install, and I will go and check systemctl status Apache 2. I'll go and just check the status of my Apache 2, it is running. And also I have another server. Okay, so where from here I'll try to do the curl, nothing but I'm just checking my web page. So I'll just do 192.168.31.143. okay, so this is my IP of the server. Okay, so I'm trying to do the curl. Okay, so it's not coming. I know why it is not coming. We'll see that why it is not coming. Okay, so now if you see here, it might be a configuration error I said. So what might be the configuration? So it will be, it depends on the environment you're working in. It might be, it's like your responsibility or the application owner's responsibility. If they are managing this Apache 2, they will go and check these configuration files. Otherwise, you need to go and check the configuration files using Apache etc Apache 2, and you will have sites -available, and you will have your default config file. So for example, if I am adding anything, for example, if I have misconfigured this, so I'll go into the insert mode and I'll just say invalid directive, anything like, I'll just say this and I'll save this. Okay, I'm saving this file. So nothing but we are simulating a configuration mistake. So now if I go and start my web server, for example, systemctl restart Apache 2. Spell mistake. Okay, I'll give my password. Now if I go and check the status, so it says failed. Okay, so I'm unable to go and start my application, that is Apache 2. Okay, so there might be any reasons, but if you see here, you can also go and check the logs using journalctl-xeu and the service name. Okay, it says no entries, no problem. And one more thing is, you can also go and check with Apache CTL. Okay, this is one thing which will check your configurations. So what it is saying, syntax error on line 30, and it gives the file configuration file name, says that invalid command, invalid directive. So, okay, so it is clearly showing that you have misconfigured your configuration file. That is one thing that we can go and check, and we can go and edit our file. Anyway, like now if I go and edit my file, okay, I'll remove this, then I'll save my file. Then again I'll try to restart my service. Okay, so now if I go and check the status, now it is running. In some cases your application, nothing but your Apache 2 might also be down. Okay, so at that point of time you can go and check the status and you can start your service. But in this scenario, if you go and see, in this scenario I have my service is running, I don't have any issues in my configuration, but still when I go and do curl, okay, so it says like connection timed out, it is not reaching. So what might be other reasons? Other reasons, you can see that UFW status. Okay, so it says that 80 port and 443 port both are denied from where my web server is accessible. Okay, so nothing but I cannot go and access these servers. In this scenario, you can also go and check the logs. Okay, so you will always have your logs in var log apache 2. So for example, if I say var log apache 2 / error.log. Okay, I'll do it again, sudo vi var log apache 2, sorry, I have given / error.log. Okay, so you can go and check the status. Okay, so like error logs, so like what all the errors we are getting, we can go and check in the web server logs, or else you can go and check in var log syslog. Okay, if you go and see here, okay, so here also you can see all the issues. Okay, so the Apache error log may be like, you can go and check the more information like what you have started and when you have stopped it. Okay, so that is the information you are getting in the log. So it's very mandatory that you go and check what is happening in your application. But when it comes to the access part, okay, so let me come out of this. Now the access part, whenever you go and see the access part, nothing but your application is unreachable from outside of this server, right? But if I do curl localhost, it will work because this is within this server. Within the server you are able to access, but from outside you are unable to access. Nothing but something is blocking to access that web application. So that is nothing but your port. So you can go and allow UFW allow, then I'll do 80. Okay, you can also do 443 if you are doing HTTPS. Now if I go to my remote server, this is my remote server. Now if I do curl, I'm able to access that page. Okay, so this is how you go and troubleshoot if you are seeing any issues with your web server. Okay, so if you see any web server failures, and how you can prevent these failures in future. The one thing which you have done in the configuration, whatever changes you do in the configurations, you have to take the backups. Without taking a backup, you should not do any changes to your configurations. That is very much mandatory when you are working in the real world. And also you will have everything, nothing but like if something goes wrong with your service, like your service is down, you will get an alert because you will have a monitoring tool where it will be continuously monitoring your services. So this is how you can go and see if something goes wrong with your web servers. Hi all, welcome back. So we are doing Linux troubleshooting break and fix. So this is scenario 4. We'll talk about high CPU usage which will slow down your server. So in real time, you might get an incident saying that a Linux server suddenly becomes extremely slow, which might affect all the applications. So this issue is traced to high CPU usage caused by a process, it might be, or a background service, or a poorly optimized script. So it might be any issue. So first we'll try to simulate this issue. Nothing but we'll try to consume 100% CPU and we'll see how we can resolve that. So now I'll just do dd, then I'll do if equal to /dev/0. Nothing but we are streaming infinite stream of zeros. Now I'll just say OF and I'll just do /dev/null. Nothing but we are discarding that data. So it is generating infinite stream of zeros and we are discarding that data, and we'll run this in the background. So I'll do ampersand. Okay, so now it will pick and it will use 100% of my CPU. How you go and check that? Like how you go and check your CPU status? Like I'll just do command top. So now if you see here, there is something which is using 100% of my CPU with command dd, and who is the user? J is the user with process ID of 7335. So now this is a very hard scenario. I would say like critical scenario. You might get a priority 1 ticket because your monitoring system will generate a P1 issue on 100% CPUs. Okay, so now I can go and see that my CPU is 100%, right? So now how I can go and resolve this issue? So definitely I'll go and check with the top command. Okay, so and if you want to go and highlight that, okay, so you can run something called shift P. Okay, so shift P will highlight, or it will give you the bold. Okay, so it is not much visible, but if you see the font, it changed to bold. Okay, you can run shift P. Okay, so that it will sort your top command with the CPU usage. Now what I'll do, I'll just come out of this. To come out of this, you need to type Q, right? So if you type Q, it will come out. Now I wanted to go and stop this process. I can say pkill dd. Okay, so which is nothing but it is killing the process called dd, right? I'm running the command dd, so you can kill that process with the dd, or you can do 7335 using kill command. So kill command, what it will do, it will go and kill your process. So if you do kill -9, it will forcefully kill your process. Whenever you use -9, it will go and kill your process forcefully. So now I can go and do kill -9 7335. Now if I do top, okay, so my CPU have come down. Nothing but no process is using 100% of CPU because we have killed that process. So whenever you see the highest, any application taking highest CPU usage, like it is taking all your CPU with 100%, you can go and kill that CPU process, or you can kill that process to clear your CPU. So in real time, you are not going to go and run this kill command unless you have a appropriate permission, because there might be an application which is taking huge CPU, and if you go and kill without any intimation, then they will lose that application. Nothing but that application will be down and the users cannot go and access that application. So because of that, you need to go and raise a incident. If required, you need to raise a change. Then you need to go and kill that process by taking all the appropriate permissions. Otherwise, there will be a problem. And also, if application says that this is much required, then you need to make sure you need to increase the CPUs. So you will have a different process for that. You need to follow that process. Thanks for watching this. We'll see you in the next scenario. Hi all, so we are doing Linux troubleshooting, break and fix. So we are into the scenario 5. So server running out of memory. So in real world, you might get an incident saying that your production Linux server is becoming unresponsive due to high RAM usage. So applications crash with out of memory errors, and the system may start killing important processes to free up your memory. So we'll try to simulate this issue first, then we'll try to resolve that issue. So I need to have a command called stress. If you are unable to run command stress, you can install apt install stress, but that is not recommended on the real-time servers. But if whenever you are practicing, if you want to increase your memory, you can use this command, that is stress command. So using stress command, we can increase the RAM of your servers. Okay, so I'll use stress -VM. I'll use 2, nothing but it will start 2 processes which consumes memory. You can give 1 as well, but for time being I'm giving it as 2. Then you can say -VM -bytes, and I'll just the 1G, and you can say timeout. Okay, I'll just run this for 300 seconds. Okay, so 300 seconds, nothing but your 5 minutes. Now I'll do enter. So I'll go to another console and I'll run top. Okay, so now it sees like, okay, 2 processes, that is 2 process consuming the memory. Okay, so one is 6.1, one is 3.3. okay, so let's see. Okay, so now if I quit this and if I say free, okay, so free also shows like how much free memory I have and how much it is used. Okay, so it is almost like I have 8 GB memory. Okay, so out of which, okay, so it is using 2 GB is free. Now I have swap space of 2 GB. I'll just do free. Okay, it might have hit 100% something. Let me close this. Okay, I would have closed it. Okay, so now my system is unresponsive. If you see, I'm unable to go and do anything because my memory has got full. Okay, so now it is out of memory. Okay, even I'm unable to log in here, it will be very slow. Okay, so if I say top, okay, now it is still having stress is still running, and my 2 processor running, and 2 processor taking 100 nothing but 200 CPU. Okay, so that is also one thing which might slowing down my issue. I'll just come out of this and I'll try to kill, okay, 8184. so it will be very slow. Okay, so it will be very slow. You need to be very cautious when we are running this. Okay, so now if I do, okay, so it killed the process. Now I am able to access freely. Okay, so now I'll go here. Okay, this is also got off. I'll do a duplicate session. Might have given wrong password. Okay, so now I am able to log in again. Okay, so for example, if you have seen that, okay, so for example, if you have seen, let me close these inactive sessions, so it will be confusing. Okay, so now if I do top, okay, I don't see the stress command. Let's do one thing. Let me run stress with 1 VM. Okay, 2 VMs it took down very quickly. Now I'll just do bytes and I'll just say 1G and timeout. I'll just say 20 seconds. Okay, I don't want to run this more than 20 seconds. Now if I do a duplicate session, okay, it might run out my 20 seconds. I'll do top. Okay, so if you see here 100% CPU and my memory is also getting increased, right? It came out. Okay, so 20 seconds is done, then it came out. Now again, like it is a normal process. Again, I'll try this. Okay, I'll just try another 20 seconds. Again, I'll go here. Now if you see here, my memory is getting increased. At this point of time, again, like what I can do, I can go and kill my process. Okay, so I can check this with the top command. Again, like I can go and kill my process. Otherwise, you can use free command. And also one more important thing is the swap space. Okay, so for example, if I am disabling this swap space, okay, so it is again like it will be a greater problem. Okay, so if you see like there is no swap space, you can go and enable the swap space. Okay, so you can say swap on. For example, if I go to my server here, I will just say swap on. Okay, -a, again like you need to sudo. Okay, it is already there. Okay, when I do free, okay, so it is already there. For example, if I want to go and disable this, I can go and disable this swap space, but we never do it. Okay, still I'll do that here. In my scenario, it's just a box. Okay, so now if you see, swap is 0, but it's not a healthy thing. Okay, so it is a risky thing. You might already know what is a swap space and all. Okay, so it is always good that you always have your swap on. Okay, so you can do swap on -a, or else you can do free -h. Okay, so that it will show you in the GBs. Okay, so how much is free, what is your total RAM and all that stuff. Okay, so how you gonna kill the memory? You can do kill -9 the PID, or else you can kill the process with the process name. So if you want to kill the process with the process name, you can use pkill -9 and the process name, and you can enable the swap space so that it will not crash frequently. One more important thing is like how you prevent this. Okay, so you have some of the system options, system D options, where you can set the out of memory killer priorities, and also you can create something, or you can limit something with per user. So for example, if I go to a file called etc security/limits.conf. Okay, so here you can go and, for example, my user is J, I can say hard rule. Okay, you can do tab, or you can do space also. I'll just say as, and I'll just give 1048576. Okay, so this is nothing but 1 GB RAM usage. So this user can use only 1 GB RAM. Okay, so nothing but we are limiting this user. In the same way, you can also limit a user to use the CPU as well. Okay, so in the last session we have seen that, right? So like we have seen that CPU is hitting 100%. In the same scenario, you can use J, and you can use hard. You can say CPU, and you can say 75. Nothing but J user can use only 75%, or else if I say 50, okay, so you can use only 50%. If I save this file, okay, so that is how you can use this file. Okay, so in etc security limits.conf, you can limit the per user usage. Okay, so this is how you can prevent the running out of memory or the running out of CPU usages, and also you can prevent per application as well. Okay, so like if you want to limit an application to use only this much of CPU, this much of RAM, you can do that as well. So that's it for this scenario. We'll see you in the next scenario.